Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier. We're going to do a slightly delayed Mike's Instant Movie Review on a Prisoner's. Actually, it's just called Prisoner's Daughter. No A in the title. Prisoner's Daughter. First off, Kate Beckinsale still looking as only she can look. Now, I guess I haven't seen. I saw like what Evolution Underworld or whatever the fuck. I've seen Kate Beckinsale in movies before. But I really just remember her name being tossed around like a salad for 10 or 15 years. Kate Beckinsale, Kate Beckinsale, Kate Beckinsale. Didn't really know who the fuck she was. I looked up her fucking, history of film. And I just feel like I just happened to not see a lot of her big hits. And I did not realize what a stunning creature this woman is. What a stunning beauty. Not to say she's a creature like the Black Lagoon, but what a hot woman, attractive. Now these assholes walking around. But I mean, very attractive. Oh boy, now I have to be quiet for a moment. Hold on. I can't speak freely when there's people around. But very attractive actress, just very pretty, very good actress too. Now I can speak freely because that person's in their car. But yeah, Kate Beckinsale, shit. I mean, I don't know if she's Australian or whatever the fuck she is, but she kind of is playing like this white trash woman character who's made some mistakes, as she says. Mainly, she got impregnated by the wrong type of dude, a drummer, a guy who thinks he's a fucking musician. I believe they're in Los Angeles in this movie, or the outskirts of Los Angeles, or somewhere in California, something like that. But she's gotten knocked up by this drummer boy. He's basically a street hobo. He's a loser, a drug addict. He lives in like a fucking what do you call it? The squatters. He's like a squatter. This is the father of her 12-year-old son. Her son's, quite the little brain on him. Nice kid, smart kid, undersized, gets picked on by the bullies at school. I feel bad for these fucking kids. And I know this is just a movie, but in real life, these kids are they're doing school shooter drills, and they're afraid of getting stabbed. At least in this movie, this bully is pulling a knife on them. The poor kid's got fucking whatever the fuck, epilepsy. All these things. They pick on him. They call him Twitch. Now you might be asking, well, who is the prisoner's daughter then? Well, it's Kate Beckinsale's character. And who is the prisoner? It's his name Brian Cox, who I just did a review of him in a movie called Mending the Line. So this is like 2023. Hashtag Brian Cox. Hashtag Brian Cox 2023. Guys making movies left and right. And quite good in Mending the Line. And this character, this one, he's pretty good. He's a convict. He's a prisoner. He's a guy who's done bad things in the past, and he's been serving his sentence. And quickly, early on in the movie, we get our catalyst moment, Blake Snyder, when the hospital doctor tells him, "Hey, look, buddy, I think he says pancreatic cancer. You don't have much time to live." The warden, for whatever reason, has a soft spot for this convict and says, "Look, if you if you have somewhere to go, namely," and I don't know why he singles out the guy's daughter, but I guess because she's next of kin. "If your daughter agrees to host you, you can serve the remainder of your life sentence with like an ankle bracelet as a what do you call it? Stay-at-home prisoner or a fucking." Homebound sentence or whatever the fuck. So he agreed, he's got to now, he hasn't talked to his daughter in 12 years. They have a history. He's got a violent history. He never got along with her baby daddy, her ex, the loser. And he hasn't spoken to his daughter in 12 years. Apparently he was in and out of prison. I think it's inferred that he was a bit abusive to her mom, although I don't know. That's kind of up in the air a little bit. But basically, he's got to beg his own daughter for her to let him come to her house, which she's inherited because that used to be the family house. Very interesting stuff. And this is what you call, and I saw this on Thursday night, which was the opening night for Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which I did go see, but I saw that on Friday. I let all the idiots who need to see the movie on the first night go the first night. I go to see this movie, Prisoner's Daughter, and yes, I was the only person in the theater. Now, I don't mention that to ridicule the film. I mention that to encourage you. If you like going to the movies but you don't like big audiences, you have to do what I do, which is counter program. You know, every asshole and idiot is going to go see Indiana Jones in the Dial of Destiny on Thursday night. Oh, it's opening Thursday, we got to go see it. I do the counterattack. I go see the movie that these asshole and mainstream idiots aren't going to go see, so I'm in the theater all to my lonesome. Okay, so I go see the movie. I really, The Prisoner's Daughter, got the whole theater to myself. You know, I got a little, I got a couple of oatmeal packets in my pocket. I snuck in a teapot, like an electric teapot. You know, I'm boiling water in there. I'm making the oatmeal. I got some a jar of peanut butter in my pocket. I'm blending the peanut butter and the oatmeal, and I'm watching this movie like I'm in a condo. Okay. But the movie was quite good. I mean, like I said, not to dwell, but I mean, I kept finding myself. I didn't know who the actress was until after the movie, but I kept like, man, this woman's pretty attractive here, you know? And then at the end of the movie, it's, oh my God, it's Kate Beckinsale, which, you know, for the last 20 or 30 years, everyone's been finger banging themselves over this actress. And now I know why. And apparently she's had these Twitter things where, like, you know, she's twittering images of herself and people are like, oh, this, you know, Kate Beckinsale, she's had work. And she's like, no, assholes, I haven't. I'm just really hot. Okay. So anyway, interesting stuff. But yeah, Brian Cox, the kid, I mean, it's kind of like you got a little, Ernie Hudson plays a boxing coach, a friend of the convict, all these things. So I thought the movie was good. I liked the movie. Oh yes, oh gee whiz, a guy that I've actually been in a movie with, slightly, Tyson Ritter, plays the ex-husband, the deadbeat dad. He was actually in my friend Tommy DiNucci's film, Johnny and Clyde, and Tyson Ritter had a big role in that and gave a lot of the music to that movie. And he gave a lot of music to this movie. And I was in Johnny and Clyde briefly. And you can watch more about that on the And Action Film podcast that I co-host with Tommy regularly on the Tom DiNucci YouTube channels, Tuesday at 11. We have a show tomorrow we're doing. We talked exclusively about Tyson Ritter. He was also in the band All American Rejects, of which I have the cover art from the CD floating around my apartment, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. But yeah, Tyson Ritter was pretty good as a scumbag drummer. He's probably known a lot of scumbag drummers, being a musician in his life, so he probably had fun with that. Trying to think what else. I just, you know, overall a good movie. I mean, shit. I mean, it's one of those deals where there was a moment or two. Specifically, there's a scene, if you've seen the movie, in the kitchen where the Brian Cox dad and Kate Beckinsale are kind of arguing, and it felt a little like television drama-esque, like, you know, the characters are feeling their emotions and they're telling each other all their pent-up frustrations with each other, and oh, forgive me, let me be your dad, you know, like it kind of felt like a fucking TV show for a few minutes. But beyond that, I mean, what the fuck? I thought it was good, and it's a good drama. You know, in this summer of shit, when you have Transformers and you have Indiana Jones and sequel, prequel, whatever the fuck. It's nice to see a standalone movie. It's not going to have a goddamn sequel. It's not going to have a fucking prequel. This is the movie. You pay your money, you pay your fucking money, and you see a movie, and that's it. You're not signed up for some universe or some bullshit. So that's it, folks. So that's it. One Mike Messier is this channel. This is where I let it fly. I let the fucking swear words come. If you want to see my more refined works, go over to One Man and a Camera Films. If you want to see my pro wrestling rants, my sports rants, go to One Pro Wrestling and Sports Fan. If you want to see all the wonderment of me, all the fucking things I do for you assholes, go to MikeMessier.com. Buy one of my goddamn books. Okay, my film books, my film book, my wrestling comic book, my wrestling trivia on Kindle Vella. You can play the first 3 chapters for free. Fighter Play Basketball Distance from Avalon. People say, Mike, are you so angry? What are you angry about? Well, a friend of mine just told me that geographically, she did this fucking astrocartography on my whole life and told me that I'm exactly where I should not be, that I'm under the wrong fucking sun sphere and the wrong moon sphere and all these things. So my whole life is geographically incorrect. So now I have to go to fucking Idaho or something like that to figure out my life. So anyway, that's it, folks. Have a nice day. Happy 4th of July. Hoo-hoo.